Now we're down to the last part of this chapter. So we're gonna go into this thing called the oxides. We covered what was acid, we covered what was base, alkali. We went on to talk about pH related acid and alkali. And the last part here we're going to talk about is oxides. So what are oxides? Oxides are actually compounds made out of oxygen and another element. Okay, so there are actually four main types of oxides. We have the acidic oxide, basic oxide, neutral oxide, and amphoteric oxides. So what are acidic oxides? Now, okay, so we have acidic oxides. So what is some of its properties? It is generally soluble in water. That means you can dissolve it in water. Okay, it dissolves in water to form acid actually. So some examples of acidic oxides are your NO2, SO2, SO3, you have your CO2. These are examples of acidic oxide. Now, why are they classified as acidic oxide? It is because, okay, this is the main reason here. They react with alkali to give salt plus water. However, obviously, they do not react with acids. So you can see here acidic oxides react with alkali, but of course it doesn't react with acid. So this is for your acidic oxide. Now, let's look at the basic oxide. Basic oxide generally, they are insoluble in water. Okay, those soluble will dissolve in water to actually form alkali. Okay, now some examples of it is your sodium oxide, potassium oxide, you have your calcium oxide. These are some of your basic oxide. So why are they classified as basic oxide? Because they react with acid to form salt and water, but they do not react with alkali. Okay, so acidic oxides react with alkali but not acid. Basic oxide is the opposite, which reacts with acid but not with alkali. So now you're down with the neutral and amphoteric oxides. So what's so special about them? Okay, now, okay, neutral oxides, they are generally insoluble in water. So you can't really dissolve them in water. Okay, they do not dissolve, or you can say they do not react with acids or alkali. So you can see this react with alkali but not with acid. This react with acid but not with alkali. Only three examples that you must H2O. So this is actually our nitrogen monoxide. We have our carbon monoxide. And lastly, H2O, you guys know it is water. So there are only three examples of my neutral oxides. For amphoteric, same thing, it is insoluble in water. But this time, it actually reacts in both acid and alkali to form salt and water. And same thing here, we actually only have three examples of amphoteric oxide. So what are the three examples? It is your zinc oxide, your aluminium oxide, and last one is your lead 2 oxide. So zinc oxide, aluminium oxide, And lastly is your lead 2 oxide. So these are the 4 examples of your different types of oxides. Now, how do we identify untitled oxides? Okay, rather than say can dissolve, let's change this to can react. Okay, same thing here. Okay, can it react in alkali? Okay, now let's say we have an unknown oxide. Okay, it's unknown. We do not know whether it's neutral, amphoteric, acidic, or basic. Okay, we do not know. But we can try some tests with it. Maybe we can throw it in acid. If it reacts with acid, okay, we know that definitely it can be either one of these. It can be a basic oxide or it can be an amphoteric oxide. However, if it doesn't react with acid, we know that it can be acidic or it can be neutral. So let's say if it does react with acid, we can do one more test. We throw it with alkali. If it reacts with alkali, we know we have an amphoteric oxide because amphoteric reacts with both alkali and acid. Whereas for basic oxide, it only reacts with acid but not the alkali. So it's a yes for acid, no for alkali. Now, if it doesn't react with acid but it does react, let's say this unknown oxide, it doesn't react with acid but it does react with alkali, this will be your acidic oxide. However, if it is a no for both acid and alkali, it will be your neutral oxide. So this is one way to try to identify your oxides. Another way is this. Okay, you can try to copy this down. If I have an unknown oxide, okay, no, maybe it's not unknown. Let's say you have a known oxide. Okay, now, for oxides, actually you can also classify them into a few different ways. Okay, oxide can either be a metal oxide or it can also be a non-metal oxide. Now, under your metal oxides, you have two of them, okay, which is your basic oxide and your amphoteric oxide. For non-metal oxide, you also only have two of them. You have your acidic oxide or your neutral oxide. Now, just remember this. If you know that it's a metal oxide, you just have to ask yourself the next question. Does it have zinc, lead, or aluminum? If it's a metal oxide that doesn't contain these three cations, okay, no zinc, no lead, no aluminum, then it must be a basic oxide. If it's a metal oxide but it contains zinc, lead, and aluminum, then it's amphoteric. Let's say it's an oxide which is a non-metal oxide. Ask yourself, is it nitrogen monoxide or is it carbon monoxide? Is it water? If it is also memorizing, must belong to the other one. So this marks the end for your acid and bases. Okay, that's all.